In this video, we're going to continue with the video series Copy Me and the examples that I'm giving you of how you could trade your robot most efficiently. And what we've done so far, just to remind you, we've set up a broker account with a MetaTrader platform. We've downloaded quality data. We've found the robot and we understand what the robot does. We've created an initial optimization template, and we have optimized the robot and then adjusted the template and re-optimized the template to create a list of testing results. So this is where we are right now, and we're now going to move on to the next point, which is finding the best settings. Now, this is just one way of finding the best setting, but it is one of the most efficient ways that I have found. So let's go and move straight into that particular area. So here's a list of results from the maximum lot trading robot, and there they are. They've basically been tested over here, and you can see the best result there is 688,000. And instinctively, most robot traders would say, my goodness, that is the best result. I am going to go for that result, and that would be the settings that they use. But I'm going to show you some alternatives here, because what we want to do, we want to find results that have the lowest drawdowns compared to the income that they're generating. So it's actually the ratio between drawdown to gains that should be good. Now, unfortunately, MT4 does not give that ratio. I have to create it. So the first thing I do is I just check that my data is sound. So I go like that, and I set it as an input parameter into, so it takes those settings into that file there. And what I then do is I just run it, and let's see if I get the same results. Very important to do this step. And your results may not be exactly the same, but it's good to get do the test. So it's 688,773, and we're looking at exactly the same results. Now, there is a reason why those results are perfectly the same, and that is because I am doing this over a weekend. But I'll be making another video about that aspect. So our database has integrity, and what we're going to do is we're going to download this database. Because it doesn't have that ratio, I have to go and create it in an Excel spreadsheet. So all I do, I right click anywhere on this sheet, and I say copy all. Right, so now I've copied everything. So then I go to my Excel spreadsheet and I paste all. Okay, so there we go. We've got it all pasted, and there you can see the 688,773 number over there, and I'll just put some headings in here. That's the gain, and this was the drawdown, and that is in fact the run number, or I'm not quite sure what they call it, but I call it the run number. That's going to be an important one. And then what I do then is I create that ratio. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just insert a line here, and I want to know what is the ratio between the drawdown experience, the maximum drawdown experience compared to the gain that was made. So we do that, and then we convert that into a percentage, format into a percentage, and I'll just make it 1. So there we are. Now that's not bad. 28.5% is really good. So that might be the setting that we use. But what I'll then do is I'm going to actually copy it all the way down, and mainly the positives. I'm just going to go for the positives because that's all we're interested in. There's the negatives coming in now. So I'll do the positives. And there we have the ratio, and for that matter, I'm also going to delete all the negatives because we're not interested in those. So it's about, where is it? Okay, so there's more or less. I don't worry about that 5. I'm just going to delete all the negatives. Okay, so we've deleted all the negatives. Now it's a case of sorting this database into that's the ratio. We want to know we want to get the best ratio on that particular area. So what I'm going to do, firstly, there's a little triangle there. I click on the triangle and then it selects the whole page. Then I go into data and I go into sort, and I say my data has headers, which they do have, and I want to sort by that percentage header, and I want the smallest to the largest, and I say okay. So there we go. So now what has happened is it has sorted the results with the best drawdown to gain ratio, and you can see there it is. There's our big one. Where's the big one gone? Oh, there's the big one. There's the 28.5. So that's the big one, and there's a couple that have beaten it. So what I normally do is I normally just go for the first one, because that's the best drawdown to a gain ratio that we have, and I then say, okay, now I have found what I want. But I'm not only going to go for the first one, I might just go for a couple more. You see those ones are pretty similar. They got the same result, same drawdown. So I'll just test a few more there. And we might even go for that, for those big ones, those last two big ones. So I'm going to test those ones, and I'll just color them in to just get a feel of which settings look the best. But the first one I'm going to test is run number 2376. So what we do is we go back to our results and we start looking for 2376. So the way to do that is you sort the parts in order, and what we were looking for is 2736. So let's have a look if we can find it. 273 one more, 2376. So we're looking for 2376. 23. Okay, there we go. Okay, that's the one. Okay, so that's the result with the best return on drawdown. So in other words, the lowest drawdown to return ratio. So what I'm going to do, I click on that. I set it as input parameters. It will then take those settings, and there they are, and put them in there, and we can now get those results. So I just want to do a quick check. 10 is between 5 and 50. 500 is between that at the start and the end. 5 is on the end there. So it's telling us that maybe we should refine that particular area. Percentage, oh, that's interesting. It's 120 between those two. And then the stop and target is exactly the same, which means it's making its money from the success rate. And that's also between the ratios that we tested. So there aren't, except for the 5, there is the only one that's bumping its head against either a start number or a stop number. So all looks very good. We go okay, and then we run it. Now we want to get to 74538. So let's see what happens. Oh, it's gone. 74538. Okay, so there's the number that we're looking for. There's the drawdown, nice and low, and you can see the average profit per trade is more or less the same as the average loss, but the success rate is about 64%. So these are most probably the most likely settings that we'll start testing. But let's go and have a look at the graph and see if that fills us with confidence. And here's the graph. It's pretty up and down. It's not a smooth equity chart at all, but it does have those drawdowns. But when it gets a drawdown, it really shoots up, gets a drawdown, shoots up, and so on. So that's the nature of this EA. It is an EA with large drawdowns, but also very positive results that that push it way past the drawdowns that are experienced. So that, I would say, it's not the greatest equity chart, but it is acceptable. So what we're saying here is that that setting there is number one setting that we want to try. It's only got 91 trades, so I'd like to get a setting that has more trades than that. So what we have to do, and that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to go in here and save that setting. And I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm just going to say settings, Great British Pound, yippee, and it is the 2nd of April, and that's where I'm going to save these settings. And I'm going to say first settings with best drawdown. Okay, yeah, you can call it whatever you want. That's enough for me, and I will again say 2nd of April, and we just save that. Right, so now we have those settings. They're not going to get lost. If we want to go and find them, we know where to find them. So we then say OK. Then we start looking for the second batch that we want to test. And I'm just going to go in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to test the best one, because it actually didn't have a bad ratio. But what I like about the best one is that it had a lot of trades. It had the most trades out of all of these. I just want to see what that one. So that one was 4202. So we go like that, and we go back in here, and we're now looking for 4202. 4202. That's it. Okay, yeah, that's the one. That's the big number there. Low drawdown. Let's go and put it in the templates, and now it's overwritten those previous ones, and I'm just quickly going through, and I'm seeing that all the settings are in the middle of the group, the ranges that we've determined, and we say OK, and we then run it. Now this run should equal 688773, and we go to report. Yep, that's what it is. So this, and oh, look at this. The success rate is 45%. So it's got a low success rate. But why it makes money is that its profitable trades are twice the size of its losses. It loses 8,000, it makes 16,000 with successful trades. So that's another strategy that works pretty well. So let's have a look at the graph for this particular one. Oh, all right. So also not particularly great, but it does again show that the EA is able to recover its drawdown periods quite nicely. There's a really nice growth period. There's a nice growth period, and this would also be acceptable as settings. So what we now have two settings that we can use for testing. So I go in there, I say yes, I like these ones, and we go and save them, and we go and save them in our settings file, and we call this the second set of settings that we're interested in. And in general, that's what I do, is I have two sets of settings for every test that I've done. The best drawdown one, and then another one that looks interesting, and we just save that, and we say OK. So what we've done now is we have taken the results of this particular test, and by chance, absolutely by chance, the best result also had a good drawdown ratio. So I have taken the best one, but in many cases the best one is in fact the worst one because of many other reasons. But I have taken that because the drawdown to gain ratio was pretty good for that. And I've then taken the one with the best drawdown to gain ratio, which had a 75,000 return, which is still a good return. It's a 700% gain over a year, so that's still a reasonable one. And those are the two that I'm going to be testing in my demo portfolio, which will be the subject of future videos. But the objective of this video was to show you how to find firstly the settings with the lowest drawdown, and then to save those settings so that you can find them again and put them into your demo trading portfolio, and then demo trade them from there onwards. Okay, so that concludes finding the best settings. That's how you do it, as simple as that. There are other ways, like watching the charts as the EA trades and that type of thing, but we'll come to those when we start monitoring and managing the forward testing. Then I'll show you a bit more about that. But we've now finished the first 6 steps, and we are now going to create more alternatives to be tested on our forward testing portfolio. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.